So welcome to our transactional analysis class. I think this is our sixth one.
Yeah.
It's our sixth class today. So we have done transactions last time. We had two classes on actually transactions. And today we start with strokes. Okay, hunger and strokes. It's a very important topic in TA, and you'll understand why I'm saying that. So please keep a little notepad and something with you because I am going to get you all to do some work. And I may even put you all in breakout rooms today. Now, many of you don't know each other, okay? But intuitively, let us see if you can just map the person's stroke. Okay, so let's see how it goes today. So I'm going to start with showing you a little video to make you understand the power of strokes. Okay, so let me. Okay, so this is it. So let us look at what are the scientific experiments done on strokes. It's a very long video, but I'm just going to show you parts of it. Okay. So put your audio a little louder so you'll be able to. It's actually there is no voice, it's just words. So you need to read it. Okay. This psychoanalytical research project on problems of infancy. Renee Spitz has done a lot of work on strokes. Only behavior which is neither exceptional for the particular child nor influenced by the filming situation. Just bear with me. The behavior patterns of the children presented correspond within a reasonable age range to those of all the children in this environment when under the influence of similar circumstances. Any exception to or qualifications of the two above statements are specifically mentioned in the explanatory text. So let us see what the film. Now, the first video, the baby loses its mother. During early infancy, the sum total of the baby's human relations is represented by its mother or her substitute. Here is Jane, who has outstandingly good relations with her mother. Accordingly, she smiles happily even at strangers like the observer. Now, this is Jane. She is playing with the priest or her caretaker, let's say. If the mother is removed from the baby for a few weeks or months, the loss of the baby is comparable to that of a school child suddenly orphaned by both parents, dumped on another continent in an alien environment where nobody speaks its language and customs and food are foreign. The next picture is taken a few weeks later, 1 week after Jane's mother was suddenly forced to leave the baby in the care of strangers. The absence of Jane's mother lasted 3 months. Observe the child's depressed expression. Jane lies quietly on her back, as in the first experiment. When approached by the female observer, she looks at her with a bewildered look, searching as if expecting her mother. In this, she is disappointed, and notwithstanding soft voiced reassurance, the depressed expression on her face deepens and she starts to weep. So, an observer, soft voice, looking at her, smiling. She's not smiling back, but she's crying. She's not really looking at the observer. When she looks up, she cries. The male observer's approach elicits a worse disappointment. She weeps with greater violence, attempts to reassure her, finally succeed in quietening her. But another glance at the male observer's face and she starts weeping again. Now, can you see she's flailing her legs? Her reaction is more violent when a male observer comes closer. Quietens down, but she again. The expression of Jane's grief. Note the despairing expression and the tears, which are unusual at this age. Jane did not scream while weeping, she only moaned. This behavior of Jane lasted during the whole 3 months of her mother's absence. Jane is not an isolated case. We will show you other children who were similarly separated from their mothers for lengthy periods. Okay, here is an unusually clever child who's always happy to welcome. All right. So I'm just going to stop this because it's a long video. And the need for you to understand through this video is the importance of a mother, her touch, her care, her face, her smile is so vital for a child's growth. I think most of you will agree to that. The touch of a mother is very different than the touch of other caregivers, though they may be female. That means the child is able to recognize the touch of a mother. Even when the child is sleeping, eyes are closed, and the mother touches the child soothingly, the child is able to feel that very easily, right? Anyone wants to share, as you grew older, this is a baby that we are showing, okay? But as you grew older, like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, did you feel that if your parent was not there, your mother especially was not there, there was that sense of feeling, um, not comfortable? I wouldn't say unloved, but uncomfortable. So your grandparents are there, your other caregivers are there, but you want your mother. You want to see her face. Mummy kab aayegi? छोटे बच्चे ये हमेशा बोलते हैं. I remember when I left my little daughter who was hardly 2 years old and I went to Valsad to do some work with Adivasi children. Uh, I went only for the weekend, and I went Friday evening and Saturday and Sunday I came back, and I thought like my daughter would be okay. But anyway, when us time mobile phones were not there, okay. So when I came back home and I entered the building, I could see my daughter standing in the balcony holding those wooden railings, looking out. That face was like, broke my heart. Then I went home and my father told me, look, you're going to look after Adivasi children. Please look after your daughter. Because she's been crying for 2 days, just saying, when is, like, mummy? She was very tiny. So where's mummy? Me, 1.5, 2. Mummy, 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 mummy. She said, he said, I took her to the beach. I took her for a film. But the film, she was engrossed. She came back home again. She was, mummy, mummy, mummy. That day I realized that I better not go anywhere till she grows up a little older. Okay? So, though I thought she was okay with her grandparents, but she was not. So anybody would like to share? Amrita, you raised your hand. Yeah, Amrita, please go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Sorry.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I grew up without my mother and father being there. I was raised by a very loving family, my external family, my grandparents. But I'm 43, 44 now, but I still find that, what do you say? Uh, there is this void in me, and I still find that in each and every relationship it impacted me in the way of engaging with the world. So I feel I'm not able to completely understand. I think reading emotions and reading responses, I find it, that has affected me, so I have to put more effort into that. And it overall, basically, I was a very happy child. I never complained, because I think as children you learn to adapt with, the situation.
Hmm.
Very happy. I still find difficult to find my place, like,
Hmm.
to have that comfort and confidence to have my space and have my voice. So that's an ongoing struggle. I think everything comes back to not having my mother being there, although I was given the love. But
Correct.
as you, it wasn't my mother's, or that affection, or the physical or emotional affection. Yeah.
Absolutely, Amrita. What, the love that you're talking about through your grandparents is care.
Yeah.
They cared for your needs. Yeah. And for a child, care is important, right? So the care of your needs today as an adult, you are equating it to love.
Yeah.
But that's not the same. Okay. Care is not equal to love. As you grow up, you actually realize this.
Yeah.
As a child, for you, your basic needs of survival are looked after, so you're happy, you're smiling. But
Yeah.
internally, that's where the inner child work comes.
Yeah.
Right? That inner child is feeling that sense of void, which is the word that you used. Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Amrita. Who else would like to share?
या
Yes,
यस मैम,
Shakuntala?
यस मैम।
Hmm.
जनरली व्हाट हैपेंस, आप अगर मम्मी के साथ ही रह रहे हो,
Hmm.
एंड इफ यू से जॉब से इफ यू रिटर्न होम,
Hmm.
एंड यू नॉर्मली यू सी कि मम्मी रहती हैं, एंड सपोज इन ऑन दैट डे शी इज गॉन समवेयर आउट मे बी फॉर 2-3 आवर्स, यू
Hmm.
फील घर सूना सूना लगता है।
Ah, very nice, Shakuntala. Absolutely right. Yeah. It's so beautiful, Shakuntala. हम बड़े हो जाते हैं, पर हमें मम्मी चाहिए। अगर हम
यस,
मम्मी के साथ रह रहे हैं, तो पापा अगर है, तो भी हमको मम्मी चाहिए। You will go
यस,
immediately and ask your father, where is mommy? But if your mummy
यस,
is at home, you will not ask, where is daddy? जब आप
टू द
आते हैं
एक्सटेंट।
तो आप ये नहीं पूछेंगे अपनी मम्मी को कि पापा कहाँ है। पर अगर पापा है
यस,
तो आप ये जरूर पूछेंगे कि मम्मी कहाँ है। तो
पापा तो चाहे टूर पे जाएं, 1-1 वीक के लिए टूर पे जाएं,
हाँ,
इतना ऐसा लाइक नहीं फील करते, बट मम्मी के लिए यू फील।
that's right. And that
But
is why
ma'am,
the
is it
loss of
because
a
of the
mother,
conditioning?
it's not conditioning, because your mother is your first love. Because the womb in which you have stayed for 9 months belongs to the mother. If the womb belonged to the father, maybe the equation would have been different. But that's not how we are made, right? So माँ के लिए जो हमारा, इसीलिए आप देखो जितने लोग हैं, they grieve or they have tremendous sorrow when their mother passes away. But they may have sorrow, of course, if the father passes away, but they're able to cope with that. But when the mother passes away, there is a lot of sorrow that they feel, because it's like that the umbilical cord is tied to your mother even when you grow up, you get married, you have your own children. It's a unique relationship, actually. Yes, Niharika. Thank you, Shakuntala, for sharing that.
So, ma'am, I don't feel this way at all, honestly. I
Yeah.
don't feel such emotions for my mother, honestly.
Okay.
Since childhood, she was with me in the same house. I
Mm,
was raised by them only, always with her. But my mother has never been a person who showed her affection that, evidently. She
mm,
never hugged. She
mm,
never, showed her affection in any way. She was very stoic
mm,
that way. And last year, when I was working on myself,
mm,
I explored deeper on this aspect because I find it very difficult to have good relationship with ladies.
Mm.
you know. As a friend, I can make
Mm.
good friends, especially the older ladies. I love to talk to them.
Mm.
But वो जो लोग कह देते हैं ना माँ, वो
Mm.
मेरे से निकलता नहीं है.
Ah.
So I explored myself and I
Mm.
spoke to my mother regarding how
Mm.
I was conceived.
Mm.
I just, normally ask her.
Mm.
And she said she never wanted to get pregnant with me. My brother was very young, like he
Mm.
was not even 1 year.
Mm.
He was just born and she conceived me, and she was highly embarrassed about this pregnancy. And
Mm.
she hid it from everyone for at least 3-4 months till it was evident. She never
Mm.
told anyone that she was pregnant with me.
Mm.
So I think वो conditioning है between me and my mother, that she never wanted me,
Mm.
and we have a very unsaid relationship where we care for each other, we are there for each other always. But वो जो एक मम्मा मम्मा वाला वो जो I speak, मतलब I have a very close friend who lost her
Mm.
mother and she was devastated. I
Mm.
couldn't, although I could see her pain, but I couldn't identify with it, how
Mm.
she must be feeling, because I never felt that way with my mother. So I don't know, the
Yeah.
way you are saying that mother के साथ
Correct.
ऐसा होता है,
Correct,
but I
Niharika.
don't feel that
Because
way.
you have not correct. But suppose today, as your mother is still around, touch wood, okay, you can foster this.
Yeah, I'm trying to
आप
do that.
इसको foster कर सकते हैं. You can put your head on her lap. You can hug her. You can
Yeah.
sit close to her. You can
Yes.
sit on her lap and she can rock you. You need to give that to your mother and she needs to give it to you. She too needs to
Yes,
bond with
I'm
you
seeing
in
that
that
change.
way that she could not bond earlier. Okay, this you will
Yeah.
see will help you to foster good relationships with other women. And also, somewhere, Niharika, inside you, na, that you are, I know you, so that
Yes.
softness, Niharika, तुम
Uh-huh.
अंदर से तुम बहुत soft हो. You're a very soft-hearted person. But have you
Yeah.
noticed that the way you project yourself is
Communicate. Yes.
I'm all
I'm
in
just like
control.
my mother only.
Yes, correct.
In that
So
way also, I'm just like my mother.
so why are you like your mother then? Because if she didn't give you that what you are telling, then you should have not been like your mother. But what you are doing unconsciously is you're carrying your mother.
Mhm. Yeah.
समझ रही हो? You're carrying your mother inside you, in your physical body, because the touch
Okay.
was not there. So now, but you want your mother. Okay, so what do? Unconsciously, the inner child carries the mother. So she becomes her behavior, her gestures, all this slowly becomes like the mother.
Okay.
So it is better that you spend some time with her, giving her the opportunity, which she didn't know, let us say, okay,
Yes, yes. Perfectly.
to
Yeah.
become your mother. You don't have to be the mother. Mane,
Yeah.
Niharika and Mummy are two separate people. But what Niharika has done is she's taken her mummy in her physical body, her physical form, and now she's behaving like her mummy because she
Exactly.
wants mummy. The baby wants mummy.
So
Okay.
that void I'm feeling by becoming my mother myself.
Yes, correct. So don't do
Yeah.
that, no? Because mummy
So
hai.
my mother stays in a different city, so I don't get that
So
opportunity to
doesn't matter.
physically
Beta,
be.
doesn't matter. You can have video call with her. You can
Yes.
smile at her. She smiles back at you. You tell her. पहले तो तुम्हें अपनी मम्मी को you will have to let us say kind of educate her. है ना? She doesn't understand. तो उसको educate कराओ कि मम्मा ये कितना जरूरी है मेरे लिए भी और आपके लिए भी.
हाँ.
And then you see that relationship will start becoming very beautiful. She will take that role of the mother of the daughter.
So her absence, I've always felt that absence, that I have nobody to rely on. I am on my own since childhood. Rather, I am the mother of the whole family.
Better.
So yeah. So recently, when I discovered this, and she was telling me about that time of her life, she wanted to become a teacher. She wanted to do this and that, and pregnancy happened, and she couldn't do it. So maybe so I understood her part also, and then when she opened up, I also opened up to her.
Very nice.
And, whatever currently was going on, I shared with her for the first time in my life.
Hmm.
And that really broke something,
Right.
And I saw a change in my mother, the way she used to react to my things. Now she was a little subtle. She was understanding me. So first time I felt that, I can rely on somebody. So things are breaking.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good. So now
things are,
slowly chip it a little more, है ना?
yeah,
उसको chip करो and give the beautiful image of the mother and child. Like I always love the image of Mother Mary and Jesus, है ना?
wow, yeah,
तो वो जो beautiful image है, उसको shape दे. Because I
agree.
don't want that when the mother is no longer there, तुझे एक एहसास हो कि अरे यार ये मैं कर सकती थी और मैंने नहीं किया.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
please do that, Niharika,
I'll
my
do that.
girl.
Yeah.
Okay, I love you, huh? And just be that, okay? Because such a loving person you are. Rashmi, you want to share something? But quick, let's have quick sharings, okay? I want more people to share.
I wanted to share that, like when my kids were younger, and my husband used to go on tours very frequently, and I stayed back here for my career and everything, and I started noticing that my daughter was getting very sad.
Hmm.
She was missing him very much, and whenever she would see other people's the father of her friend or someone in while going down in the lift or something like that, her voice would just deepen, and and very sadly she would say, when will daddy come? So
Hmm.
I felt that that I'm doing an injustice to my children because I had at that point of time, I had lost my father,
Hmm.
and I had a very deep bond with him as well,
Hmm.
probably deeper than my mom. And
Hmm.
I suddenly felt that her father is alive, and why am I keeping her away from him?
Hmm.
And this might affect her development. So
Hmm.
so yeah, that's what I wanted to
Relationship
share.
with
Yeah,
with
that.
your father is also equally beautiful. But today we are talking about the initial strokes that a mother gives a child. It is unique that the relationship of a mother and a child is extremely unique. Okay? Because of the time that the child spends with the mother. That is more important, the initial 9 months or 8 months or whatever. Henna, you wanted to say something? Henna, you kept your hand up.
Ma'am, more if I wanted to ask.
Okay, then
Yes,
wait.
yes.
Let
Still
us
up.
finish the sharing. Ranika.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm just not resonating with this. Was not so. I mean, my mom was very loving. She's taken really, really good care of us, and I understand that me taking care of somebody is something that I've learned from my mother. But
Yes.
I have grieved so much for my father, but not so much for my mother. And what you're saying, and I'm even trying to very hard to understand that when my mother went away to meet her sister and all, I didn't miss her.
Mhm.
I've never had that feeling, mummy kahan hai, mummy kahan hai. So,
So, is it possible,
so
Ranika, that your mother stepped away a little bit so that you could have a better bond with the father? Sometimes, as a soul contract, the mother is aware that this child's soul contract is with the father. So, knowingly, okay, the mother kind of steps away a little bit so that the child can foster a better equation with the father.
that's
It is
possible.
not that the mother is unaware what the child needs. Okay, so though you consciously or whatever feel I had a great bond with the father, but if you see how your mother helped you to foster that bond with the father, then you will see the role that the mother played in your life.
And can it also be because I have a sister? So Diti is 9 years older to me. And
Sure,
from as far as
definitely.
I remember, I've
Huh.
always like slept with my sister. Even when I had my first periods, my sister did everything.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
Yeah. So you think about this, okay, how the mother in your life has played a significant role in fostering these various relationships. You see, that way also a mother plays a role of a teacher. In a very silent way, the mother is not telling you all this, okay? But in a very silent way, she plays that role to foster these beautiful, different relationships out of love. But as a child, you can't understand that. Okay? But
So
as you grow
now
up
that
today, maybe you can understand it differently.
now I understand. 'Cause I see it now because she never came in between me and my father and
Right.
me and my sister. So my sister has sometimes over pampered me, but my
Yeah.
mom has never interfered, even if she did not resonate with what my sister was doing.
Correct. So that is so
I can make
important.
out, yes.
Right. So you have to, don't look at a mother-child relationship in a very kind of linear manner. It's a very deep relationship. The mother is the first choice that the soul will make before it comes is the choice of the mother. Because it's through her that she becomes like the fulcrum. She is the one who's going to get you in the world. She is the one who's going to foster the other different relationships. So she becomes like the teacher. The first teacher is your mother, always. अब तुम्हें ये नहीं याद कि जब तुम 3 महीने की थी, 6 महीने की थी, 1 साल की थी, what role the mother played? I mean, we don't remember that, right? But definitely she has played a huge role. So that's what we have to acknowledge. Okay? So that's what I want to say.
Yes.
Maya.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ma'am, I was around 8, 9 years old when my mom had gone for some pilgrimage for 1.5 months. And there was a lot of people around me who were taking care of me, but I always felt very uncomfortable in spite of their care and everything.
Correct.
And when I became a mother, even I have a daughter.
Yeah.
So what happened whenever I had an opportunity to go out, I used to remember that thing and I used to never leave and go anywhere.
Very
Like
beautiful.
this was how it was playing in me. You know, I don't want to leave her because I don't want her to go through that what I went through.
Very nice. Very nice, Maya. Thank you for sharing. Dominic. Good to see you, Dominic. Namaste.
Namaste. I want to share that when my child was small, I went to Europe with my husband and left him with his grandmother like for a month. And I could see his little face when I arrived, like he was like, where have you been? And I felt guilty, of course.
Yeah.
But then when you just said that about the contract, Dewan went to live with his father when he was about 11. And there was a part of me that knew that he had to be with his father. It was very important. And it was a sacrifice. And of course, I still feel guilty about that. Not after our sessions, but I still feel that kind of guilt that he went to live with him. But I now understand that.
Yeah.
But then he created a very big bond with his grandmother as well.
Yes.
Paternal grandmother.
Absolutely. So the mother is really somebody, now that we are talking, maybe you understand, but the mother is that person who knows what the blueprint of her child is. The mother is very much aware, okay? But the mother is aware at a very deeper level. So consciously, she may behave in another manner, but she's very much aware what this child needs. Because when the child is in the womb of the mother knows what to eat. There are, mothers will not eat certain things which is it's not good for the child. They will do all this for 9 months. Correct? They will give up eating sugar. They'll give up eating so many things because when they eat something, they have nausea. So they say, oh, I should not eat. That means the child is not comfortable with this food stuff. So I will not eat this. And they willingly give it up. I mean, that's the kind of love they have for the unborn child. So how is it that when the child is born, they are not aware of the child's blueprint? They are very much aware of it. Okay, so this beautiful bond is so precious that if your parent is alive, value it. Because you have the chance. Okay, parent is gone, you can't do much about it. But still, like we did so much of work with ancestral work, right? We value that. That relationship is valuable, and we need to give them that place. That is important. Not only in the room, like not as a kind of photo frame, but in your heart. Yeah, they have to be given that little place. Yes, Hina, now you can ask the question. I think everybody, I don't know if anybody else has their hands up, but yeah, Hina, you want to ask a question? Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to start with ki whatever you said right now, right? Ki a mother knows the blueprint of a child. That is like so true because I'll just be roaming about in my house some days and मुझे खुद नहीं पता होता something is wrong or something is bothering me and my mom would just pick it up ki what's bothering you and she would just give me what I need, some comfort or somewhere. She just knows what to give me जो मुझे खुद नहीं पता होता that I need it sometimes.
Absolutely.
So you're so right that mother kind of knows the blueprint of a child. Another question was that this thing what someone shared right with their mom that they have kind of embodied their mom. Is it true with fathers as well? Like, can a child embody their father as well? Is the bond similar or different, or how does that play out?
That can be due to conditioning. There are skills of the father. It could be even, let's say, you have carried certain talents of your father. Okay, so that way, of course, you will embody your father. Like thought processes.
Not that.
Because the father begins, the father begins to give the child sanskar. Of course, the mother also gives. That's a different way of giving. The father gives it differently. He will sit with the child, read to the child. Children wait for their fathers to come back home from work. Okay, because they need that masculinity also. It gives them power. Okay, so they always look up to the father. They will look to the mother, but they will look up to the father. Because there is a different way of a relationship developing. To the mother, they will stare at the mother. Okay, if the mother is staring at you, you will stare back. Because you know that your mother's love is different. Okay, but you will look up to the father. Why? Because in our culture, in every culture, I think, the wives look up to the husband. At least in our culture, they do in India, right? I don't know about other places, but you all can definitely share. Dominic can share, and there is also Baba. So, but generally, you look up to the father. The father seems a towering personality. Something about the male body, women tend to look up to them. And that is why, at least here in India, you have the woman shorter than the man.
Well, while you're saying it, I get it, but I couldn't relate to it, honestly. I look up to my mom and not my...
Oh, great. Of course you look up to, it's good. Yeah. But generally, that's because, Henna, that's because the behavior of a father may kind of, distance you. Okay. But in times of crisis, generally you would seek your father. In critical moments where some decision has to be made, which is very important. Possible. Okay, Manisha.
So, yeah, ma'am, do you think in these modern times when the boundaries between what it is like a standard father's role versus mother's role, they're diminishing, and sometimes there could be a role reversal. Will that confuse a child? Like in terms of because in my experience, what I've seen, the kids are very smart to identify the topic. They rather than going with the mother or father, they go, okay, if it's this matter, I will go to this person. If it's this matter, I will go to the other person.
That is
so is it confusing?
That is when they are younger. That is called kind of manipulation. They want their bit, so they know where to go. That's a different thing. Okay, but in a way, what I want to say is yes. Today, because of this roles getting confused, men staying at home, cooking, looking after the children, changing their diapers, which is more a role of a mother. I know many people will say, oh, this is very, sexist kind of thing. But the key is there is a distinction between the mother and the father. And that distinction, I feel, is good for the child when the child is growing up. Okay, when the child is grown up, it's a different thing. But when the child is the first 6 years of the child, as Eric Burns says in TA, are very important. That's when the boundaries need to be there. As the child grows older, then the relationship will change, obviously. But the first 6 years of the child's life, the mother plays an extremely important role, is what Burns speaks about. Okay. People can refute and say, oh no, even fathers are very important and all that. That's okay. Fathers are important. Nobody's saying that. Okay. But the mother and the child bond is very special. How many of us as therapists see clients who are wanting to foster better relationships with their mother? How many of our clients they feel sorrow when their mother passes away or their mother is sick? And even when they have to look after mother with a mother whom they did not have a great equation, they are more agitated because they want a better relationship with their mother. There is something, I mean, all of us can have our own opinions, but I'm talking about what Burns says. Okay. So that is a little, something is special, is what I would say. And even the film, you can definitely go on YouTube and have a look at the whole film that I just showed you, which shows you how children respond when their caregiver, especially their mother, does not meet them. So this experiment done by Rennie Spitz was actually kind of not appreciated later by a lot of people because the experiment was a longitudinal study. So this was like 3 months, then 6 months. So the child was actually kept away from the mother for this experiment. Okay, so it was not appreciated and a lot of criticism came her way. But I mean, it was like a learning experiment, which was not well taken by a lot of people because the child was actually kept away from the mother. This is not something that is, what should I say? It's not like something that is shown to you, which is fake. This actually has happened, but the child was kept in a, like, with the priest and the nuns, and the mother went away, and for the experiment, the mother was sent away. So, but this, what was shown is very, very real. Children did get depressed. They're infants, right? So we as infants don't know what we felt, right? We don't know. हमें नहीं पता. Mummy अगर नहीं है. And there are children, right? There are very few children, I would say. If the father goes in the bathroom, locks the door, the child will go and cry. But if the mother goes in the washroom and locks the door, the child will sit outside the door crying, Mummy, 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 Mummy. Have you seen this? पापा अगर बाथरूम में चले जाएंगे, बच्चा नहीं रोएगा. Child will not cry. But if the mother goes in the washroom, that is why, have you noticed many mothers take their infant babies while they're having a bath? I've heard this. They'll give the bath to the baby also, they'll also take a bath because the child is crying out. Said the husband says, please take the baby inside the bathroom and you also have a bath, give the baby a bath. But if the father goes in the washroom, the baby will not sit outside the door and cry. So there are so many little things. If we start observing, we will realize there is something special between the mother and the child. Okay. So now let's move on to understand more. Okay. This is it's one of my favorite topics in TA. And now I want to show you another PPT. Okay, so I'm going to stop this one. And I'm going to show you this one now. Okay, just give me a second. Okay. So now let us look at strokes in a slightly different way. Just give me a second. Okay. So what are strokes? Yeah, you need to understand stroke is nothing but a unit of recognition. Okay. So every transaction can be a loving one if you understand strokes. Right? So let us understand your own stroking needs. So what is stroke? Stroke is nothing but a unit of recognition. Okay? So when somebody sees you or your presence is felt in their life, do you feel valued? When somebody sees you, what I mean by seeing, okay? Right? Not just looks at you, but sees you, do you feel valued? Yeah, you will feel valued, correct? This behavior of seeing itself becomes a stroke. Like when little children come back from school and they tug at their mother's sari or their clothes and says, "Mommy," and the mummy is busy and the mummy is not seeing the child. Mummy may be saying, "Ha, beta, tell me what is happening." The child is not happy. The child wants the mother to see. Have you noticed this? Yeah. So it's not enough for you to speak to the child. The child is not going to be happy if you don't see the child. Mommy, dekho na. Look at me, mama. Mama. And then they'll turn the mother's face also towards them. Right? So can you see how important seeing is? It makes you feel that, yes, this person is interested in me, this person values me. This itself becomes a stroke. This seeing builds positiveness in us and adds meaning to this relationship. So many of you who are talking about the mother, right? Is it possible that the mother didn't see you enough? It's possible, right, that the mother didn't see you enough. Mother was there, but she didn't see you. There was no eye contact, less eye contact. Sometimes less eye contact can also give you this feeling that mommy doesn't love you or mommy doesn't care about you or mommy is there, but this relationship is okay, that kind of thing. Do you know this behavior of seeing lengthens your lifespan? Not only improves the relationship, okay, but lengthens your lifespan and increases your need to contribute to personal and collective growth. This is all what Eric Berne has said, okay? Isn't that interesting? Lengthening your lifespan. And it increases your need to contribute to personal and collective growth. Now, can you see how important seeing is? Seeing, just looking at somebody. Okay? So I'm going to stop, share. This is such a beautiful topic that I want people to share more because we learn from each other so much, right? So now let us talk about just seeing. Like, not about your mother now, but now that you're older, do you feel valued when somebody sees you, makes eye contact with you, looks at you in a certain way, smiles back at you? Tell me. And have you had an experience where a relationship where you are being seen matters to you more than a relationship where you're not being seen? Maya.
Ma'am, right now when we were in Rishikesh, and when you were taking lectures, and sometimes, there was an eye contact with you, and you were seeing at me, so I was feeling like, oh, wow, it is something, like I was feeling so whelmed and all that. Oh, ma'am is looking at me. So that difference it makes, and a sort of a confidence in me. Yeah, I am at a right, like I'm doing something right. I'm not at a wrong place. Come for learning for PLR and all that. So yeah, it makes a difference when someone is seeing at you. It really makes.
So that's the reason in a classroom, when a child is feeling underconfident, we tell the teacher to take the name of the child, like and call out to the child. Because when you call out to the child feels, oh, the teacher is looking at me. Amrita will agree to this, being a teacher herself. Amrita, you want to say something?
Hello, ma'am. Yes. So it's very like we're talking about very meaningful, adult relationships. Like we're talking about a teacher looking at a student. But as a teacher, I can tell you that when a child looks at you, the child is looking at the teacher and they actually see the teacher. The kind of feeling and the joy and fulfillment that you get from that, that is also another way of being
Absolutely.
seen. I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. Anyone else wants to talk about henna?
So, ma'am, there was an incident from yesterday. I was working on a presentation, and we 4, 5 folks were working on it. And today I gave the presentation. So, the partner to whom I was giving the presentation, he specially called out my name, saying, Henna, good job. This is what's done. I feel so seen and so heard at that moment. And I was like, all my hard work was worth it. And now I want to put even more effort, 100%, 1000% effort to it to, make it even better. So it feels so wonderful when someone kind of sees and kind of hears you out.
Absolutely. So being seen is such an important thing, right? So if you want a relationship to increase in value, then you have to do that. Yeah, you don't have to wait for others to do it to you. But now that you've understood the importance of being seen, which you have felt, and if you want a relationship that is not going too well, let's say, okay, then do it. Look at the person, see the person. When you're talking to the person, see the person. Look into the eyes of the person and talk, and you will see that relationship will slowly become better. Because you must have noticed that when you see a person, a smile comes. There is this, when you're talking also, there's a smile on your face rather than a frown. Correct? So it naturally happens. Correct? So this is a very beautiful thing. Yes, Dominic, go ahead.
But ma'am, if I wanted, then I should do that to others.
Yeah,
That's what you're
you
saying.
do it to others, yeah. If you want it, right? And you know how beautiful it is that you will feel. So do it to somebody else. Like suppose you go for a date, and now and you are like, looking here and there. The guy will not feel seen. He say, "Bhaiya, ये तो लड़की देख ही नहीं रही मेरी तरफ. This girl is not interested in me." Right? जैसे कहते हैं ना, आंखें आंखें कहने चुराना, है ना? Like look away. No? So आंखें चुराना, माने looking away can be two. One, you're not interested. So you look away. And second is you are bashful, माने shy. That is also looking away. But the person will get the idea. Right? So even looking away is such a beautiful thing. Right? It's so beautiful. Your eyes, I say, are this mirror to your soul, right? So that is how important seeing is. Like, okay, yes, Dominic, go ahead, and then Rashmi.
Yes, ma'am. An incident happened in Paris, in Esteban, my son's apartment, and we were discussing something over the phone with my son, and as a Latin, of course, I speak loud. And so I came out of the balcony, and this French guy right across the street started shouting at me, "Shut up!" and this and that. So I reacted to him. Of course, I said, "Oh, whatever." And then, of course, I felt bad. The next day, I came out. He was in his balcony, and I said, "Sir, I want to apologize for yesterday." And then I said, we're neighbors. Let's not fight. And he said, no, but the thing is that the wind brings the noise. And anyways, in Paris, they're, a bit special. But we smiled. I smiled to him and he smiled back. And so I just saw this man that Esteban always says he's always grumpy. He's always a nasty person. And he all of a sudden, I saw him.
Yeah.
And he saw me. Yeah. And that was very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you remember, Dominic, in ASRT, we spoke about ICU.
Yeah.
We did that, right? ICU, like the seeing part is so important. Yeah. Rashmi?
So sometimes, what happens is that because I'm so far away from my mom, I do call her up frequently, but, with the voice message and everything, you don't get that effect. of a video call, you know. So sometimes there's nothing much to talk, but even then I just call my mom. I put her on a video call, and I'm probably just having my lunch, and I just want to be with her while I'm eating. So, so she also feels that, she also says that she doesn't have anything much to say, but she likes the fact that I'm just like, just getting to see each other.
Yeah,
and
seeing each
similar
other.
thing, and a similar thing I observed. I thought it was just with this thing was with my mom, but this time after Rishikesh, when I stayed back for about 3 months in Pune, I was missing my husband, and he was also missing me, obviously. So, and then one day I was just doing something on my laptop, and he called me, and then we didn't have much to talk to each other, but he was doing his work and I was doing my work, and we just had the camera on, on my mobile.
Yeah,
So
just
we
seeing
just
each
felt that
other.
we are sitting with each other. Yeah, and then that time I felt, I always used to get angry at my daughter that, why is your video call always on? The video is always on. Her friends are there and they're watching movies separately. She's watching the same movie, her friend is watching the same movie, and they are on, the mobile is on, and she can see her friend, the friend can see her. So I used to get irritated at her, what is this? Why do you have to have so many screens in front of you at the same
Now
time?
you
But
understood.
next time I understood, yeah.
Yeah,
I
lovely. Very
understood
nice,
her.
Rashmi. Lovely, Dominic and Rashmi, for sharing. Tanu, let's have your share.
My relationship with my children has improved a lot because I learned this from you in the workshop to see the person. And when I look at my daughters, they share more with me, and now they are more connected to me.
Lovely.
It's like a blessing for me that they are sharing more and more things with me.
Yeah.
Just by seeing makes the difference.
Beautiful. Very nice. So I think your homework this week, it's 8 for 54, but the homework this week is going to be about seeing. Okay, just seeing people as you talk. And please, I'm going to put on the WhatsApp group on Wednesday or something, and then you all can start sharing. But I hope you all are keeping a little tab in your diary, okay? All that you have studied, because that's important. And then this homework will really help you, especially with your parents, your spouse, your children, even randomly. Okay, like you know, what happens, right? In a bus when you're traveling and somebody kind of acts fresh with you. What do? You stare, like you see that person, and then that person becomes uncomfortable. So seeing is not just about having a great transaction. Seeing is also beneficial when you want a transaction where the opposite person moves away. So that's how important seeing is. Okay. So let me share a little bit more. Okay. Why? Okay. Hold on. So let me share. Okay. So now, and of course, increasing your lifespan, guys. So that is a very important thing. Okay. So, what is the worst form of punishment? Can anybody tell me? What is the worst form of punishment that you can
Not
give any
Silent
child?
Silence.
not talking.
A silent treatment.
Stop talking.
Not talking.
Why? Why is that?
Isolate someone.
Sorry?
Ignorance.
Isolate someone.
We
Yes,
question our
isolate
self-worth when that
someone.
happens.
Correct. So you know
By
that
not
worst form,
responding to someone.
not responding to someone. Yes. So that is why solitary confinement is the worst form of punishment. And that is why I tell parents, young parents, do not put your child in a room and lock the door. Putting the child in a washroom, locking the door, is the worst form of punishment you can ever give a child. And you know, this is what many parents do, right? It's like the said thing, isolate the child, put the child in a washroom or in a bedroom, lock the child and say, no, you stay inside, okay? Time out. Yeah, people call it time out, okay, in the West. But time out is to be done in a corner. It's called a time out corner in the room. It's not to lock the child somewhere. Okay, so it's very important to understand that keeping the child away, locked up, is the worst form of punishment because it actually makes you feel unrecognized, as if the attention has been taken away. And this stops you from functioning like healthy human beings. Of course, we have solitary confinement in jails, okay? But the problem is that the solitary confinement is not for reflection, because the person has not been taught how to reflect. They've not been taught dharana and dhyana. They just put away. They are not taught how to reflect. So if even this whole, this whole thing about putting people away in empty anda cell, as they call egg cells, right? Teach them how to reflect and then put them away for a period of time, but this is done to break the person. So you can imagine why solitary confinement is done to these jailbirds, to actually break them. That's how terrible solitary confinement is. Breaks you completely. Okay? So keeping children away in locked rooms, locking the child away is not the right kind of way to reform people. So, especially our children. Okay. So, that is very, very important to understand. Okay. So, let's look at this next little thing. So, again, let's go back to Rennie Spitz, the one who made the film. Research by Spitz, 1945, it was noted that children deprived of physical stimulation may sink into decline and become prone to death, suicide. Eric Berne described this as stimulus hunger. It's a very important word in TA. As we grow and develop, our stimulus hunger develops and is partially transferred to a psychological version which Berne describes as recognition hunger. There is initially, when you're young, stimuli is very important. Children who are not stimulated, as we saw in the film, develop stimulus hunger. As you grow older, this stimulus hunger, please read that thing very carefully, stimulus hunger develops and is partially transferred to a psychological version which Berne describes as recognition hunger. Okay? Now, this is another very important area that we need to understand. Recognition hunger. Stimulus hunger, when we are small, transfers into becoming recognition hunger when we grow older. Okay, what happens if you have been deprived of recognition as you are growing up? What are the psychological disturbances, okay, that can happen in a teenager or a young adult, let's say? One of the things is attention, right? They want attention, more and more attention, because they don't understand that they haven't been recognized. So for that hunger is so strong that they're having attention. They want attention. So attention seeking behavior that nowadays, as you know, is rampant. Why? They actually want to be recognized for something. Correct? Yes, lack of confidence. Absolutely right, Rashmi. You can put it up here. Self-doubt. That's true, Amarjot. Absolutely right. There will be self-doubt. What else is going to happen to this person? Problems that the person will face. I'll just go through the chat. Invisible. Manisha, that's an excellent thing. Rebel. Yes, Ranika. Invisible is a very nice thing because the child is not getting recognized, very hungry, so becomes kind of withdrawn, invisible. Anyway, I'm not going to get it, so I'm not important. So let me not be seen in the crowd. They want it, but they don't know how to get it, so they become invisible. And yes, Ranika, rebel. They become rebellious. And they want recognition, but they'll behave in a manner that is inappropriate or unhelpful. That is also another way of getting recognized. Scared of people. Yes, Rashmi, they may develop fear of people. I won't say fear of people, but they will, like self-doubt. So they will avoid. They will avoid, not scared. They won't have phobia, but they will avoid because they're not getting it. But they will have some behavior, like, they will avoid people, so people will go to them and say, why are you not coming in the party? What is wrong with you? Come on. Actually, it's a way of getting attention only. But they will use this mechanism so that people come to them for giving attention. Okay? That can actually start happening to you. Lack of fulfillment. Yes, there'll be lack of fulfillment in relationships. Thumb sucking. Yeah. So thumb sucking is soothing. Thumb sucking is not for attention. Thumb sucking is a habit to soothe themselves. Not that they're doing it to gain attention from others. Thumb sucking is more like a soother. So instead of the parent giving a soother to the child soothes himself. Maybe the child is, disturbed in some way. Maybe the child, they have this favorite blanket. They have a favorite pillow. They have a favorite teddy, which will rip away tone, but yet they want that little thing. Thumb sucking is a soother. They want to soothe themselves. Maybe they need more care. Maybe they need more touch of a certain kind. Okay, maybe they're getting teeth, or they want more of oral gratification. Okay, so it's not about getting recognition. It's about orally getting more gratified. I remember my daughter, I was getting, I was breastfeeding her, but like I was the first time mother, so I didn't understand how much the child wants, and I was a little confused with that. So for the first week after I came back from the hospital, I didn't know how much to give her, like whether she's satisfied or not. Though my mother said give her a little more, I said no, she seems to be okay. How you are, like a little crazy. So after 1 week, I went back to the doctor, and he said she wants more milk. Like, you have to keep her at your breast little longer, he said. And that was the time when I noticed, she was doing this. She was hardly like 1 week old, maybe 10 days old. She was doing this. Like stimulating her lips, like soothing. Okay? Why? Because she needed more milk, but I couldn't understand. Right? So it was more fulfilling your need. So thumb sucking is not a need for recognition. Okay. Then what else have people written? Let me see. Attention seeking is always negative. Attention seeking cannot be positive. You are seeking attention. So that is always negative. Talkativeness. Yes, they will talk, not talkativeness. They will talk randomly. They'll keep talking. Okay, got it. No, they'll keep again explaining, re-explaining. Whereas some people who explain, then they re-explain, then they re-explain again, as if you haven't got it. Okay, so it's like, have you seen me? Right? If you see them, like, okay, let's sit together and now tell me exactly what you want to say, and you look at that person, she will not repeat. I see this with my children in school, when I'm sitting, looking at them, and they're sharing something with me, and I look at them, they say it only once. But if I'm like opening my laptop, or I'm, like opening the drawer, taking out the paints, then they'll repeat, ma'am, then again they'll repeat. So this is something that I've observed, yeah? So this is interesting. Difficult to deal with people. Yes, that can happen. Yes, Tripti, I'll ask you to lacking communication skills, compete. Yeah, that can happen because they want more recognition, lack of motivation, laziness. Yeah, so the parent goes and says, chalo, 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 giving them more and more attention. So all this is to become, TikTok star. Correct. Yeah, they want fame. So then they do all kinds of things, as we know, right? The virtual media, they'll wear ridiculous clothes, they'll make videos which are like really like gives them so many eyeballs, right? So that they get recognition. Yes, Tripti, go and ask a question.
So I have a question. What if stimulus talks like touching, hugging, they were absent? but there were other plenty, because it's the case of me and my mother. I love my mom the most in the world, and she does too, and we both know it. But she was not very huggy or, touching kind of person, unless I'm very, very stressed or
So the
something.
question is, are you a touchy person?
I'm not.
Correct. So
I'm
that's
not.
affected you.
And my daughter is 19 now, and she literally come to me and she say, "Can you give me attention and a hug?" And I say, "Yes, I will give you a hug," but she has to ask for it. And it's just very hard for me, because I am just my mother. I love my daughter so much, just like my mom does, but I have not learned hugging or touching the head, or, just soothing a little. And I don't do it. I try my best.
You have to
I
do.
try
There's
sometimes.
nothing like
Yeah.
trying. I don't like the word try, as many of my students know. Try is a bad word. Try means you'll never do it, actually. Okay? So you don't have to try, you have to do it. This is not something goes by trial and error. When a baby is born, the mother takes the baby in her hands. It's not that, oh, I'll try to hold the baby. No. When I'm sure there are so many first time mothers here, I'm sure they must have had their first babies, like I had mine, and I had never held a baby in my hands. Maybe my niece or nephew, like for a few seconds, okay? But when my baby was born, it came naturally to me to hold her, and I knew exactly how to hold her head. And that, the head will not fall back. Correct. It's a natural thing. It's not something, nobody teaches you all this. Okay. So if you feel that lack of touch was there, that is a primary stroke. The primary stroke for a baby is touch. There is no other stroke. Okay. So if you feel there was a lack of it, please give it. Give it to your mother. Let your mother give it to you. Okay. Just do it like a game. Like a little game that you play. All right, mommy, let me get 5 hugs from you today. And then you give 5 hugs to your mommy. Let it become a game. Doesn't matter. Stroking her back, stroking her arms, because she must be older now. Right? Like what I do with my mom, now she's, like I'll massage her back, I'll massage her hair, I'll massage her arms, right? Because it helps me also. Correct? And she feels good, I feel good. That's it. Okay, job done.
It doesn't have to be necessarily a hug. It can other
like
touches
just
too.
stroking the arms. What are the most sensitive spots? The neck. Yeah, that is why, and the back. Why do when you go to a massage parlor or whatever spa, you lie on your stomach, right? Why? Because the back.
Yeah.
Back needs to be massaged. When you massage the back, even, stroking the back makes you feel relaxed. If you don't get sleep, ask your spouse to stroke your back. Like scratching your back, it's a great thing. I tell my husband to scratch my back every night. Okay? Because when he scratches my back, I feel the proprioceptors, in my back suddenly feel relaxed. Because we've been walking the whole day, sitting the whole day, right? Our back is like feeling tired, no? So you get them to scratch and stroke your back, you will feel fantastic.
I don't know if it is with other people too, but I think it used to be very normal in Indian families not to give hugs, or I don't know if it's normal, but it was very normal in my house. Not because I love my grandmother and my mother, and we all are like very close to each other, and I just love her, love my mom, but
you are close, but that closeness, if it is accompanied by touch, it will give you a different sensation. It's all about relationships. I basically, I don't want anybody to feel when their parents are gone that you did not touch your parents enough. That's the reason I'm saying all this to everybody, because I know what I've seen children, I've seen people who are depressed, who are anxious, phobic, withdrawn, schizophrenic. And what happens to them? They say, that I'm not seen enough, I was not touched enough, my parents never sat next to me. They say all these things. That means it must be important.
Right.
Otherwise, why would people say, and not only one,
Okay.
thousands of people say this. Yes, massaging your mom's feet. Yeah, just massaging your mom's feet. Today, I mean, like my mother, her helper, every day for half an hour massages her legs and feet. Every day for half an hour. And trust me, her nerve endings have got better. Initially she used to tell me that when she wears, like if she does not wear her slippers, her feet feel a little unsteady. Which now she's 91, so her feet, maybe the nerve endings have become worn. Okay. But since the last maybe a year, since my helper massages her legs and her feet, the niche of the soles of her feet, she says she's feeling better in her feet.
Yeah.
So touch is a very important ingredient in life, is what I want to tell everybody. Yes, Ruchi.
Okay.
Good to see you, Ruchi.
Ma'am, the way we hugged each other a week back, I've never hugged like that. I mean, the way she spoke, I can completely resonate. Touch is missing in my life also with my parents. And same, I'm not able to respond with anybody, not even with my husband. I want to feel him, I want to touch him, I want to hug him, but I'm not able to.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just have 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day where your spouse and you, Mohan, and you just stand naked next to each other, touching each other. No, I really want to say this because Indians are stupid. Indians are not able to understand that God, I mean, if we had to be born with clothes, great. But we are not born with clothes, right? There must be some reason why we are not born with clothes. Yeah? There has to be there's a reason for everything, I believe, okay? So why can't we do this with our spouse? We can, just stand. Even back to back is so amazing. Just standing back to back with your spouse is fascinating. Do it. Just drop all this nonsensical inhibitions. It doesn't work. You've been married, right? All the ones here who are married, why the hell did you get married? Why? Just to get married. That's ridiculous. Yeah. There must be a reason why we are married. That means this spouse of ours is here to satisfy my hunger. All stimulus hunger needs to be satisfied by the spouse. Recognition hunger needs to be satisfied by the spouse. The ones who are unmarried, go to your parents and see them, touch them, massage them, sit next to them, right? Sit on their lap if you have to. Okay, but you have to do this. I'm not just saying this, okay? I really want you all to understand how important this is. Okay? We are hungry. Are we not hungry? Are you hungry or not hungry?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we are hungry.
Yes.
We are hungry. We are
Yeah,
hungry people. Huh?
ma'am, there's one question. At times it happens like you want to, hug your husband, you want to touch your husband, but the conditioning of a husband is such that it doesn't work out, and like
तो जाके
it is
उसकी गोद में बैठ जा एक दिन.
शू शू मतलब लिटरली वो डॉग को शू करते हैं ना.
Pinta, you have to cling to him. Clinging behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, just sit on his lap and cling to him like a monkey. He will say, "Kya kar rahi ho? What are you doing? Like, are you crazy? What's wrong with you?" Say, "Yes, today is my 5-minute crazy time." So I always tell my students, develop a sense of humor with your spouse. Just crazy time. Baba is saying something. Baba, what are you saying? I want to say what Baba is saying.
I was saying that now class
when Shravana was not feeling.
Shravana. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I hugged her, when I grabbed her, because I'm so much taller, I grabbed her from top and I just like made her move with me. And she looked at me and she said that she felt very good after that.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, you were tall and slim, and she was cute and plump, and yeah, and we know, I mean, everything about her. So this is, I really want to tell everybody, yeah, please, please, next class, you're all going to tell me, or maybe on our WhatsApp, you're all going to tell me what are the various antics that you've done with your spouse. Okay, everyone, game for this? All right, super, fantastic. And also, people who are unmarried, what antics you'll have done with your parents? Okay, so let's make this class where we start changing ourselves. That's what Byrne wanted, right? Byrne wanted that transactions become so powerful that you feel worthy, and you don't need to play games then, right? Because Eric Byrne is famous for the book games people play, right? So you only play games when you are feeling unworthy. Otherwise, why the hell do you need to play these little mind games? You don't need to, right? So everybody game for this, right?
Yes.
Super, fantastic, excellent. Okay, so today, because of the subject of strokes, which is like such a super subject, it just makes your life so much better. And if you understand just strokes from TA, your life can change. I work with strokes with couples, couples who are not getting along, and I don't tell them about TA, about transactions. I talk to them only about strokes, and they understand it, and they say, yes, this is exactly what is lacking in our relationship. This is lacking. If this can be, glued, your relationship gets better. Because everybody, like I said, we are all hungry for love, hungry for recognition, hungry for attention. But we don't know how to get it. That's the problem. But once you get that, your relationship can change and it can become miraculously beautiful. So we are all in to make our relationships beautiful. Okay. First with our spouse, if you have one, with your parents, and then, of course, with your friends. But as we proceed in the next class again on strokes, we'll see the different kinds of strokes and the different ways in which you can be stroked. Now, the only problem is that I want to send a questionnaire across, which you all have to fill so that you understand your pattern of giving and taking strokes. Okay, so I'll put it up on the TA group. Now I don't know how many of here are not on the TA group because
Mostly are there, and
mostly
what
are
we
there.
can do is they can send me an email. If they are not there, then I can send that document to them through
Okay,
email.
great. So the ones who will be
My
attending the
email
July
is this.
class, you need to have that. I mean, I'll send it forward. I'll send it to Shakuntala, okay? And then she can. So just keep the questionnaire. Don't fill it up because you may make a mistake. Okay, we'll fill it up in the class itself. So then the ones who attend the class will obviously fill it up, right? Um, or we can send it in the class, Shakuntala. Is that
Ma'am,
possible?
in that group, TA group, you can send,
Okay.
okay? Because some people will be watching the recording. So
Right.
they'll be using. And those who are not there in that group, but right now they are present here. I have shared my email ID in the chat, and almost everyone is having my, so they can send me a message. I can email them or they can send me a WhatsApp
So
message.
keep that question, that particular question. It's three pages. Okay. So keep that with you ready in the next class. Don't say, "Oh, I forgot" and all that. Okay. Of course, we will kind of remind you, but keep it ready so that in the class you can fill it up. Then it'll be a live class, so you'll understand how to fill it up also. Okay, friends. So thank you so much for today, for being present here. And I'll see you all
And
in July.
Thank you.
Next TA class will be on 3rd July. That is the first Thursday. Right?
This class is on the 3rd of July. So please be there. Okay. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.